stars hum soft little songs to help you fall asleep. Tonight, we're taking a slow, dreamy walk through the Land of Ooo, a land filled with friends, feelings, and the soft hum of adventure. But this isn't a big, wild adventure. Oh no. This one is small, peaceful, and full of sleepy warmth. The sun is dipping low now. Its golden light spills over the Candy Kingdom, turning the gumdrop towers pink and the candy streets honey-colored. Princess Bubblegum finishes her last note in her journal, then looks out the window and smiles. It's a good night in Ooo. Out beyond the kingdom, in a little tree house perched high above the meadow, Finn stretches and yawns. Jake is already curled up on a pillow made of clouds, one of BMO's creations from earlier today. BMO hums a lullaby to no one in particular, its little screen flickering with soft blue light. The air smells like adventure and apple pie. A cool breeze drifts through the window, carrying the sound of a distant river. It's a quiet night. The kind of night where even the monsters take naps, and the trees seem to whisper, shh. Finn looks out at the horizon. He sees the soft outlines of the Candy Kingdom, the Ice Kingdom glittering faintly in the distance. And far away, the Fire Kingdom's glow, gentle tonight, like a heartbeat instead of a blaze. Jake mumbles in his sleep. Something about waffles, something about dancing, then sighs happily and rolls over. BMO finishes the lullaby and says, "Good night, Jake. Good night, Finn. Good night, world." But Finn isn't asleep yet. He feels that tiny tug in his heart, the one that always comes before a new journey. Not a dangerous one, not tonight. Just a little walk under the moonlight. He tiptoes to the window and looks out. The moon is full and soft, resting like a silver balloon in the quiet sky. Finn whispers, "Maybe we'll just walk a bit. See who's awake. Say hi. Then we'll come back and sleep." Jake's ear twitches. "Walk? Sure thing," he mumbles, half dreaming. And without even opening his eyes, he stretches his arm long enough to wrap around Finn's shoulder. "Don't go without me, bro." Finn smiles. "I wouldn't dream of it." Together they step outside. The night air greets them cool and kind. The grass is damp with dew, and the fireflies are just beginning their nightly dance. Each step makes a tiny sound, a hush of softness that melts into the cricket's lullaby. They pass by the meadow where the butter lambs sleep, tiny clouds of fluff snuggled under leaves. They pass the hill where the tree trunk's apple orchard glows faintly with moonlight. And somewhere far away, they hear the faint sound of Marceline's bass, slow, dreamy, just a hum beneath the stars. Jake stretches into a floating balloon shape, letting Finn climb on his back. "Let's glide," Jake whispers. "Not fly, just float." And so they do. They drift slowly above the Land of Ooo, just enough to see the patchwork of kingdoms glowing below them. Soft blues, candy pinks, golden fields, and the faint shimmer of ice. "Everything looks so calm tonight," Finn says. Jake nods, half asleep in the air. "Yeah, Oo's got that bedtime vibe." They hover there for a while, letting the world turn quietly beneath them. No rush, no quests, just peace. After time, the wind guides them toward the Candy Kingdom. Princess Bubblegum's lights twinkle softly. They land on the edge of the peppermint forest, where everything smells like sugar and rain. They walk quietly. Each leaf crunches like candy paper, and the moonlight filters through the gumdrop branches. Finn laughs softly. "I remember when we got stuck here all night because of that marshmallow flood?" Jake snorts. Yeah, I still can't eat marshmallows without hearing that squish sound. They laugh quietly together, but their laughter fades into a soft calm, the kind that makes you feel warm inside. They stop to watch a family of gumball guardians sleeping beside a candy lake. One opens an eye and gives a slow, sleepy blink. Finn waves. The guardian rumbles softly, not a warning, just a good night. And as they move on, the world seems to sigh with them. Every sound becomes slower, softer. The wind hums low, and the stars twinkle just a little dimmer, like they too are ready for rest. Finn and Jake settle under a cotton candy tree, their eyes half closed. BMO's lullaby still echoes faintly in their minds. The moon watches over them, gentle and kind. Finn whispers, "I think the best kind of adventure is when you don't have to go far." Jake murmurs, "Yeah, just enough to dream about later." The night grows softer still. The breeze slows. The stars stretch out, and even time feels like it's dozing off. The world is quiet now. The leaves sway lazily in the moonlight, and every creature in Ooo seems to be dreaming at the same time. Finn stirs under the cotton candy tree. He isn't fully awake, not really, just hovering between dreaming and being. Jake snores beside him, his body half melted into a puddle of comfort. Finn opens one eye and sees the sky shift, the moon sliding behind a cloud, casting waves of shadow over the meadow. It feels like the world is breathing, in and out, slow and deep. Somewhere far off, a soft hum begins to rise, low, steady, and a little sad. Finn recognizes it right away. It's Marceline's bass. He sits up slowly, rubbing his eyes. Jake's ear twitches. What's that sound?" he mumbles, his voice muffled by sleep. "It's Marcy," Finn whispers. "She's playing again." Jake stretches, forming himself into a long, floating hammock that lifts them both. "Then let's go listen," he says. And with a gentle stretch, they begin to float across the moonlit meadow. The closer they get, the softer everything becomes. The wind hushes. The fireflies part like tiny lanterns showing the way, and the stars seem to dim their sparkle just to listen. Marceline's cave sits on the edge of a glowing lake. The surface of the water mirrors the stars, and the reflection of the moon trembles like silver silk. Marceline sits on the porch, barefoot, her hair flowing like ink in the wind. She's humming quietly, plucking slow, dreamy notes that sound like raindrops. Finn and Jake land softly nearby. Marceline glances over, smiling. "Hey, you two can't sleep either?" Jake yawns. "We were sleeping, and then we started dreaming with our eyes open." Marceline laughs, a sound so soft it could almost be part of the song. "Well, you picked the right time. It's a lullaby night." Finn sits beside her, knees to his chest, watching the ripples on the lake. "What are you playing?" Marceline's eyes drift upward. "Oh, just something I used to sing when the world was quieter. It helps the stars remember their rhythm." She strums again, slow, steady, each note rolling through the air like a sigh. Jake closes his eyes, floating a little higher. Finn feels his thoughts slow down. All the little pieces of the day, the laughter, the tiny adventures, the glowing lights, melt into one soft glow. Marceline begins to sing, her voice low and soft, half hummed, half whispered. "Sleep now, little wanderers. The night is kind and deep. The stars will hum your story till morning starts to creep. Float among the silver dreams where moonlight softly weaves. Sleep now, little wanderers, beneath the candy leaves." Her song fills the air, and even the wind seems to pause to listen. The lake ripples gently in rhythm. The crickets chirp in soft harmony. Finn closes his eyes, his breathing falling into sync with the song. He feels tiny again, like a kid drifting on a cloud. He remembers the first time he met Jake, the first time they saw the sunrise together. It all feels like part of the same night, connected, quiet, and full of love. When the song fades, Marceline puts her bass down and leans back on her hands. That's the trick, she whispers. Even when things change, the night always brings the same peace back. Finn smiles. Yeah, it's like the world's heartbeat. Jake hums softly. Man, that was beautiful. Almost makes me want to actually go back to sleep. Marceline grins. Then you should. Sleep is a kind of adventure too. Finn nods. Where do you go when you sleep, Marcy? She looks out at the lake again. I go everywhere. Sometimes back to the old days, sometimes to places that don't even exist yet. Dreams are how we remember that everything's still possible. Jake mumbles. Even pancakes made of clouds. Marceline chuckles. Especially pancakes made of clouds. They sit together quietly for a long time. The kind of quiet that doesn't need words. Just music in the air, moonlight on water, and hearts resting easy. Eventually, Marceline stands. I think I'll head inside. You two can crash out here if you want. The sky looks like it's about to play its own song. Finn looks up. The clouds are moving again, slow and soft, revealing new stars that seem to shimmer in rhythm. He whispers, "Thanks, Marcy, for the song." She waves, her shadow stretching long and dark across the glowing ground. Then she disappears into her cave, leaving only the echo of her melody behind. Jake stretches into a long blanket and wraps around Finn. "Let's just nap here for a bit," he murmurs. "Yeah," Finn agrees. The grass beneath them feels warm. The sound of the lake is like a soft heartbeat, and the stars twinkle as if whispering stories. Finn's thoughts wander again. To BMO, probably tucked in and dreaming of games. To Princess Bubblegum, working by candlelight. To all of Ooo, asleep and safe under the same moon. He feels a sense of belonging, a quiet peace that settles deep in his chest. And as his eyes begin to close again, he hears a sound, the faint chime of wind bells drifting through the forest. Somewhere, perhaps in the distance, the night is calling them onward. Another part of Ooo is dreaming, and maybe, just maybe, it wants to share that dream. Jake stirs. "Hey, bro, you hear that?" "Yeah," Finn whispers. "Let's see where it leads. But slow, okay?" Jake yawns. "Slow's the only speed I've got right now." They rise gently, floating again. Not flying, not walking, just gliding like leaves in the breeze. The sound grows clearer. Soft bells, gentle rustling, like a lullaby carried by trees. They drift into the edge of a glowing forest, leaves like glass, trunks shining faintly with dew. Each step sounds like music. "The night forest," Jake murmurs. Finn nods, his voice barely above a whisper. "Let's just listen." No talking for a while. And so they do. They walk among the trees, bathed in silver and green, as the forest hums its song, the same tune Marceline played, carried now by the wind, woven into the roots and branches of Ooo itself. The world is still. The night continues, and sleep sweet, steady, glowing, begins to draw closer again. The forest waits, calm and shimmering. Every leaf catches moonlight and bends it into 1,000 sleepy sparkles. The air smells of rain and honey, and the ground is warm beneath Finn's boots. Jake stretches into a little lantern, his fur glowing gold to light the way. "Whoa," he whispers. "Feels like we just floated into a dream." Finn nods. "It kinda is. Look at the trees. They're humming." And they are. A low, velvety hum runs through the trunks. A music so soft it feels more like a heartbeat than a sound. Each step adds a note. Together they're walking through a living lullaby. Up ahead, faint blue lights drift among the Branchestany spirits, shaped like floating petals. They swirl lazily, curious but unafraid. One lands on Finn's shoulder. It's warm, almost breathing. It sighs, and in that sigh is the sound of rain beginning far away. Jake whispers, "Hi, little buddy," and another petal spirit perches on his nose. They giggle quietly so they don't wake the forest. Soon they reach a clearing where a crystal stream slides between the roots. The water glows from within, casting ripples of silver across the moss. They sit by the edge, listening. The stream whispers stories about stars that once fell into the water and decided never to leave. Finn dips a hand in. It's cool but comforting, like touching the edge of a dream. He says softly, "Marcy's song must have followed us here. The forest, it remembers." Jake yawns, turning half liquid again. "Yeah, man, everything I know remembers. Even the air's got a good memory." From deeper in the woods comes a gentle rustle. Not danger, just something moving slowly, rhythmically. Out steps a great round creature made of moss and roots. Its eyes glow the color of dawn. It speaks in a voice like wind through tall grass. "Welcome, travelers, you walk the dreaming path." Finn bows his head slightly. "We didn't mean to intrude, we just followed the music." The creature smiles, the moss around its mouth shifting like leaves. "All who follow music are welcome. The forest opens only to those who come with calm hearts." Jake grins sleepily. "Then we're in the right place. We're like 99% calm right now." The creature chuckles, a sound like rain on hollow wood. Then rest. The forest sings to those who need to breathe. It gestures with a slow, sweeping motion, and vines rise gently to form a cradle of leaves. Finn and Jake climb in without hesitation. The cradle sways softly, rocked by unseen hands. The moss creature hums a deep note that vibrates through the clearing. The petal spirits join in, twirling overhead, each adding a tone, until the air becomes a single, endless chord of comfort. Finn's eyes grow heavy. He sees shapes in the rippling light memories, maybe, or dreams waiting to begin. Him and Jake racing clouds, Princess Bubblegum smiling over a sunrise, BMO dancing in a field of blinking flowers. Jake murmurs, "Man, he feels like the whole world's breathing us to sleep." Finn answers, barely awake, "Yeah, maybe Ooo dreams too." Their voices fade as the cradle sways slower, slower, until even the wind holds its breath. Time loosens. Minutes stretch like silk. Somewhere above, an owl of starlight glides between the trees, watching, guarding, glowing faintly. When it spreads its wings and tiny sparks fall, dream dust, settling gently on Finn and Jake's foreheads. The moss creature lowers its head. "Rest, heroes," it whispers. "Every brave heart deserves a soft night." The words drift like smoke, curling into the cool air, and the forest begins to hum a new melody, slower, deeper, the sound of complete rest. The petals fade, The stream quiets, and the cradle becomes still. Only the moon moves now, pouring pale silver through the branches. And as Finn and Jake drift fully into sleep, the dream carries them forward, not away from Ooo, but deeper inside it, to the place where all dreams in the land are woven together. Music softens, heartbeat rhythm slows. Somewhere beyond the trees, a faint golden glow appears, a doorway of light, waiting to open when morning finally calls. But not yet. The night still has stories to tell. The light in the forest begins to change. It isn't dawn, just a soft, golden shimmer seeping through the trees, as if the moon decided to glow from inside the earth. Finn stirs first. He doesn't open his eyes right away. He simply feels the warmth and hears a sound like distant laughter, kind and echoing, the way laughter sounds in a memory. Jake stretches, his voice drowsy. Whoa. Feels like I slept for 100 pancakes. Finn sits up slowly. The moss cradle has vanished. They're lying on a floor of gentle mist. Above them hangs a ceiling of light ribbons of color drifting like curtains in water. Jake, Finn whispers, I think we're still dreaming. Jake blinks, then smiles. Nice. Let's keep dreaming then. They stand. Around them, the forest has melted away into something vast and calm, a hall without walls. Everywhere they look, shapes shimmer in the haze, scenes from lives and moments that feel familiar. There's BMO bouncing with joy, teaching a cloud how to dance. There's Princess Bubblegum, asleep at her desk. A small smile on her face as a candy flower blooms beside her. And in the distance, the Ice King, but not lonely this time. He's sitting with Gunter, reading bedtime stories to a circle of tiny penguins. Jake's voice softens. Bro, this is everyone's dream. We're inside it. The air vibrates gently like the pluck of a harp string. From the shimmer of light, a figure forms, a tall, being made of faint gold outlines, its eyes like twin moons. Welcome, dreamers, it says, its voice blending with every friendly tone they've ever heard. You've wandered into the hall of shared dreams. Here the hearts of Ooo rest together, so that no one dreams alone. Finn gazes around, awed. So, we're inside Oo's heart? In a way, the figure answers. Every friendship, every kindness, every song they weave together when the world sleeps. Jake looks thoughtful. That's beautiful, man. Like a big old sleepover for souls. The figure laughs softly. Exactly that. They walk slowly through the hall. With each step, another vision blooms. Tree trunks and Mr. Pig share a picnic under a dream apple tree. Peppermint Butler brews tea that glows like stars. Even tiny Lemongrab snoozes peacefully, his face finally calm. Finn feels his chest swell with warmth. He realizes that all the adventures, all the moments of danger and laughter, have led to this gentle harmony. The golden figure pauses before a curtain of light. Would you like to see your own dream? It asks. Finn glances at Jake. Jake shrugs. Sure, long as it's got snacks. The curtain ripples open. Inside, they see their treehouse bathed in morning light, BMO humming while making breakfast. Finn and Jake are there too, but older somehow, resting on the porch, smiling at the sunrise. Finn whispers, "That's us." Jake grins. "Dang, we look relaxed." "It's what you carry inside," the figure says. "The dream of peace after the quest. The dream of home." Finn feels tears sting his eyes, not of sadness, but of that strange, happy ache that comes when something true is shown gently. He turns to the figure. "Will this dream stay?" It always does, the being replies. When you wake, it hides behind your heart, waiting to remind you that rest is also a kind of courage. Jake yawns again. Can we hang here a little longer? Of course. The light around them deepens, changing from gold to a soft lavender glow. They lie down on the misty floor, the visions of their friends floating above like clouds. Music hums faintly, maybe the echo of Marceline's lullaby, maybe the forest itself breathing through them. As their eyes grow heavy once more, Finn whispers, I think Oo's telling us that it's okay to rest, that the world keeps turning, even when we close our eyes. Jake answers, yeah, bro, the adventure keeps going, but the dream part's just as good. The golden figure bows its head, and the hall slowly dims until only starlight remains. Each star flickers once a heartbeat of every soul in the Oothin fades into the soft hum of night. Somewhere in the distance, the color of the world begins to change. The dream hall fades to silver, then to the faintest blue, and the air smells different, like morning waiting politely at the edge of night. Finn stirs first. He feels the weightless moment between sleeping and waking, that quiet place where you can still hear the language of dreams. Jake opens one eye and smiles. Morning's peeking in, dude. The golden figure who guarded the hall bows one last time. Every dream must open its eyes, it whispers. When you wake, remember, the calm you found here lives in you. The light folds like a blanket being drawn away, and suddenly the soft mist becomes grass again, cool and fresh beneath their feet. They are back in the forest clearing. Dew sparkles on the leaves. The moss creature still hums, a tune so low it sounds like the earth stretching after a long nap. Finn yawns. Jake stretches so far that the treetops bend. For a moment, neither of them speaks. They simply listen to the hush before sunrise. Then the first rays of dawn spill over the horizon. The light moves slowly, a shy pink glow touching everything with warmth. The stream from the night before catches fire in gold. The petals rise again, fluttering in the breeze like sleepy stars heading home. Finn takes a deep breath. It's so quiet, but it's not empty. It's like everything's smiling. Jake nods, his voice soft. Yeah, even the air feels hugged. They follow the path back toward their treehouse. Every step feels lighter, as if the world is walking with them instead of beneath them. The animals of Ooo begin to stir, little rustles in the brush, tiny yawns, wings unfolding. A sugar bird hums its first note, and suddenly the whole forest joins in, singing the day awake. They pass by Tree Trunk's orchard again. She's already up, playing pies on her windowsill, steam curling like clouds of cinnamon. Morning, dears, she calls softly. Did you sleep well? Finn waves, grinning. Best sleep ever. Good, she says, eyes twinkling. Then carry that peace with you. The world needs rested heroes. The path winds on. The Candy Kingdom glows rose gold in the new light. Gumball guardians blink themselves awake, their huge eyes reflecting sunrise. Princess Bubblegum steps onto her balcony, stretching and sipping from a cup that smells of berries. She spots them and smiles. Good morning, boys. You were quiet last night. Finn laughs. Just dreaming around. She nods knowingly. Ooo sleeps best when you two do. They continue toward home. BMO is on the porch, singing a cheerful little tune to greet the day. Its voice is bright but still gentle, the sound of a happy alarm clock that knows not to rush anyone. Jake flops onto a hammock. Man, I love mornings that come out of good dreams. Finn sits beside him, watching the sunlight creep up the treehouse wall. It's funny, he says. All the adventures, all the noise, and the best part might just be this. Jake closes his eyes again. Yeah, bro. The quiet after. That's where the real magic lives. They stay like that for a long while, not needing to talk, just letting the warmth soak in. The birds keep singing. The sky turns from gold to blue. In the distance, Marceline's cave glints in the light. A single bass note drifts across the valley, low, steady, a final lullaby to carry night into day. Finn smiles and whispers, "Thanks, Marcy." Jake half murmurs back. She always knows when to play the right note. The breeze moves through the grass, making the same rhythm as they're breathing. The world feels whole, not loud, not silent, just perfectly balanced between waking and rest. Finn leans back. Think we'll dream again tonight? Jake chuckles softly. Always. Dreams are the next adventure, bro. And every night, we'll be waiting. The sunlight brightens, filling every shadow. But it doesn't chase away the calm. It carries it forward, like a quiet promise that peace isn't only for dreams. The sun has climbed just high enough to warm the edges of the clouds, yet the world still moves softly, as if careful not to wake anyone too fast. Finn and Jake rest in their hammock, eyes half closed, listening to BMO's tune fade into the morning breeze. The song is cheerful, but beneath it hides the slow rhythm of the night they've just left. The hum of the forest, the echo of Marceline's bass, the heartbeat of Ooo still pulsing in quiet harmony. Finn breathes out slowly. "You know, Jake," he whispers, "when I close my eyes right now, I can still see the dream hall. All of Ooo, floating together, safe." Jake smiles without opening his eyes. "That's because dreams don't really end, bro. They just get comfy inside your chest till you need 'em again." The breeze sways the hammock. Each creak in the rope sounds like a sigh, each sigh like a reminder that peace doesn't vanish when you wake. Below, the grass sparkles with dew, and somewhere far away, a gentle laugh drifts through the air. Maybe tree trunks greeting her pies. Maybe Princess Bubblegum greeting the new day. Or maybe Ooo itself laughing softly because the night went so well. Finn lets his thoughts wander. To the forest spirit still sleeping under leaves. To Marceline humming a tune in her cave. To every small, kind moment that makes the world gentle. The images blur together like watercolor. Candied skies, quiet rivers, smiling faces. And soon he's not sure if he's remembering or dreaming again. Jake murmurs, "You hear that sound?" Finn listens. The birds, the wind, the faint ripple of water. They form one long, slow chord. A music that feels older than words. Jake says, half asleep, "That's the sound that plays when everything's okay." Finn smiles. "Then let's keep listening." They lie still. The sunlight shifts across their faces, warm but never harsh, like a blanket stitched from dawn and starlight. BMO's little voice drifts from inside the house. "Breakfast is ready whenever you are, but only when you're ready." "Thanks, buddy," Jake calls lazily. Then quieter, "Not yet." The moment stretches. Time itself seems to slow its heartbeat to match theirs. Finn whispers, "Hey, Jake? Do you think the world dreams when we do?" Jake takes a deep breath. "Yeah, I think Ooo dreams through us. Every laugh, every nap, every hug. That's how it stays alive." Finn's eyelids flutter. He feels sleep tugging at him again, a second wave, softer and warmer. He doesn't fight it. He lets the rhythm of the breeze and the creak of the hammock carry him down. Jake follows, his breathing deep and even. Soon both of them are half smiling, half asleep, floating between morning and dream. The camera of imagination pulls back. The treehouse, small beneath a sky of pale gold. The Candy Kingdom, glimmering in the distance. Marceline's lake catching light. The Ice King's mountain shimmering like glass. All of Ooo is awake and dreaming at the same time. The narrator's voice softens to a whisper. The adventure never truly ends. It only changes shape, from laughter to quiet, from sunlight to moonlight, from waking to rest. And when you close your eyes tonight, remember that somewhere in the Land of Ooo, the same wind that rocked Finn and Jake still hums the same gentle song, waiting to guide you back to peace. The music thins to a single note, held for a long, calm moment. Then the note fades, leaving only the hush of the world and the soft sound of breathing, steady, content, asleep. The stars shimmer higher tonight, and the treehouse glows from within like a lantern. Finn and Jake are sitting by the window, watching clouds drift across the moon. They aren't planning a quest, just sharing that quiet kind of company. And that needs no words at all. Jake stretches half liquid, half blanket, and wraps a lazy arm around Finn's shoulders. "You know, bro," he says softly, "for all the monsters and quests and giant sandwiches, my favorite times are just sitting here with you." Finn smiles, eyes half closed. "Same. Feels like the world slows down a bit when we do this." The fire crackles. BMO hums in the corner, a tune that sounds like two best friends walking in rhythm. Outside, the grass shivers under the breeze. Friendship in Ooo isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a laugh shared in the dark, a blanket passed from one sleepy hero to another. Sometimes it's the sound of Jake's snore sinking with the wind. After a while, Finn stands and peers out toward the horizon. Far away, he sees a faint red glow. "Marceline's cave. Think Marcy's awake?" he asks. Jake yawns. "Probably jamming. Want me to fly you there?" Finn nods. "Let's go say hi. Feels like a night for songs." Jake stretches long, turning into a soft flying rug of fur and comfort. They glide through the cool air, the forest below whispering secrets of leaves and dew. When they reach Marceline's home, they find her outside, sitting on a rock, strumming her bass so quietly that even the bats are dozing mid-flight. She looks up and grins. "Hey, you two night owls. Couldn't sleep?" Finn shakes his head. "Just wanted to hang out." Marceline pats the space beside her. "Then hang. It's a good night for it." Jake curls up instantly, already half asleep. Finn sits beside Marceline, watching how the moonlight paints her hair silver at the edges. She plays another slow chord warm, steady, the sound of remembering. Finn closes his eyes. He can feel how much care hides in her music. For Bubblegum, for old memories, for all the little things she never says aloud. "Hey, Marcy," he murmurs. "Do you think people stay friends even when they're apart?" She nods without hesitation. "Yeah, real bonds don't break. They just stretch when they need to." Finn smiles. "That's good." Marceline glances toward the Candy Kingdom, a soft pink glow far away. PB's probably still awake, working on something impossible. She always forgets to rest. Finn laughs quietly. "You could play her to sleep sometime." Marceline chuckles. "Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe she'll let me." The music slows again, a few notes, gentle as footsteps down a hallway of dreams. Jake sighs, already snoring softly. Finn leans back on the grass. You ever notice how everyone in Ooo looks out for everyone else, even when they pretend they don't? Marceline nods. "Yeah, that's the weird part about this place. Even chaos has a heart." A shooting star slides across the sky, leaving a trail of gold that fades like a whisper. "Make a wish," Marceline says. Finn thinks for a long time, then smiles. "I wish everyone sleeps safe tonight." Marceline grins. "Good one, hero." They sit in silence as the echo of the wish settles into the world. The night wraps them like a blanket. Even the distant hum of the Candy Kingdom seems softer, as if Ooo itself heard and agreed. Soon Finn's breathing slows. Jake stirs, curling around him protectively. Marceline lowers her base and lies back beside them, watching the stars blink out one by one. The narrator's voice drifts in again. Friendship in the Land of Ooo is the quiet warmth that outlasts every adventure. It lives in laughter and in silence, too. It's the bond that turns the night gentle and the dawn hopeful. The wind carries the last notes of Marceline's song over hills, through candy forests, past Bubblegum's balcony where she finally rests her head. And somewhere far below, BMO's soft voice whispers into the night. "Good night, everyone. Good night." Far across the meadow, the Candy Kingdom glows faintly in the dark, a gentle pink lantern against the sleeping sky. Inside her tallest tower, Princess Bubblegum still works by candlelight, notes scattered like petals across her desk. She tells herself she's not tired yet, but her handwriting has begun to wander, looping softly where the words should stand straight. A clock somewhere sighs. Outside the window, the stars blink patiently, as if waiting for her to notice how late it's become. She leans back, rubbing her eyes. "Just one more formula," she whispers, though even she doesn't believe it. The candle sputters, tired too. A faint knock echoes from the balcony. Not loud, just the gentle tap of someone polite enough to let the night keep sleeping. Bubblegum opens the door, and there, hovering just beyond the railing, is Marceline, base slung lazily over her shoulder, smiling in that way that says, "I told you so," without any words. "Hey, PB," she says softly. "Still saving the world at bedtime?" Bubblegum laughs under her breath. "Someone has to." Marceline drifts closer, her boots barely brushing the marble. "You forget to sleep again?" "I was close to finishing something." Marceline taps the candle with one finger, and the flame steadies. "Then maybe finish this instead, listening." Bubblegum tilts her head. "To what?" "To this." Marceline plucks a single slow note on her bass. It hangs in the air like a droplet of light, and the room begins to soften around it. The papers on the desk rustle themselves into order. The beakers quiet their tiny clinks. Even the clock seems to hush, content to let the song keep time instead. Bubblegum exhales. "I didn't realize how loud it all was until you stopped it." Marceline smiles. And that's the trick. Sometimes you've got to let the quiet do the fixing. She plays another chord, warm and low, a sound that hums in the chest instead of the ears. Bubblegum closes her eyes. Her shoulders relax for the first time all night. They stand there together, the candle between them, throwing golden shapes on the walls, Marceline's shadow long and wild. Bubblegum's neat and careful, but both touching, overlapping where the light meets the dark. After a while, Bubblegum whispers, "I worry so much, Marcy. About everyone, about Ooo, about everything." "I know." Marceline's voice is gentle, almost teasing. "But the world's tougher than you think. And you've already made it sweeter." Bubblegum laughs softly. "Sweet is kind of my thing." Marceline chuckles. "Yeah, but kindness is too. Don't forget that part." The candle burns lower. Outside, dawn still feels far away, but the air has that soft shimmer that comes just before the first light begins. Bubblegum turns back to her desk, then stops. "I could finish this in the morning." Marceline grins. "Now you're talking." They move to the balcony rail, watching the sky breathe. Below, the streets of the Candy Kingdom are quiet, their colors muted under moonlight. From this high, everything looks peaceful. Bubblegum leans her head against the railing. "I forget sometimes that peace exists." Marceline sets the bass aside. "It's always there. You just drown it out with math." Bubblegum laughs again, a small, tired, honest laugh. "Maybe I need a new formula." "You already have one." Marceline taps her chest. "Friendship works every time." They fall silent. The candle flickers one last time, then settles into a steady glow, not bright, not dim, just enough to warm the room. Marceline hums softly, the same lullaby she played for Finn and Jake earlier. Bubblegum listens, eyes half closed, the melody weaving through her thoughts like calm air. When the song ends, Marceline stretches and yawns. "See? You can rest without the world falling apart." Bubblegum smiles. "Only because you remind me." Marceline shrugs. "That's what friends do. We keep each other from turning into zombies of worry." "Technically," Bubblegum says, "that's an interesting hypothesis." Marceline laughs. "Go to bed, PB." Bubblegum finally nods, snuffing the candle with a gentle puff. The smoke curls upward, twisting once, then fading into the soft blue of the coming dawn. Marceline steps backward off the balcony, floating slowly downward through the quiet air. Bubblegum watches her go, then turns toward her bed, smiling into the darkness. Down below the Candy Kingdom, dreams in a city held together not just by sugar and science, but by the quiet, stubborn kindness of everyone who loves it. The first threads of light wander into Ooo. They stretch gently across the hills, over forests and candy towers, and finally to a little patch of grass where Finn, Jake, and Marceline still rest. The night has folded itself neatly away. The stars fade, satisfied with their watch, and the sky sighs open pale gold, with hints of pink at its edges. Finn stirs first. He blinks at the morning like it's an old friend. Jake snores softly, a lazy grin on his face, his ears twitching at the sound of nearby birds. Marceline, lying beside them, stretches, the ends of her hair glinting red in the dawn. "Well," she says sleepily, "guess I stayed for the whole concert." Finn sits up, rubbing his eyes. "You sounded great, though." Marceline laughs. "Thanks, kid. I think the night liked it, too." The three of them sit quietly for a moment, like watching the sunlight tiptoe across the grass. It doesn't rush. It just moves in slow, friendly waves, warming everything it touches. Jake finally opens one eye. Morning already? That was a fast nap. Yeah, Finn says softly. But it was the kind that makes you feel brand new. Marceline floats up, stretching again. You two heading home? Yeah, Jake answers, yawning wide. We should check on PB. Finn was worried she'd stay up all night again. Marceline grins. She's fine. I stopped by. Finn tilts his head. You did? Yep. Played her a song. She fell asleep halfway through the first verse. Finn smiles. That's nice. Marceline nods. Yeah, she works too hard, but her heart's in the right place. The conversation fades into comfortable quiet. The three of them begin walking, or floating in Marceline's case, through the dew-dusted meadow, the world around them soft and awake. As they near the Candy Kingdom, they pass little candy citizens sweeping porches, watering flowers made of spun sugar, smiling sleepy smiles to greet the heroes passing by. Morning, Finn. Morning, Jake. They wave, their voices as sweet as syrup. Morning. Finn waves back, grinning wide. It's the kind of morning where everything feels gentle, where every small sound, the broom on stone, the bubbling of a candy fountain, fits perfectly into the day's first breaths. At the castle gate, Peppermint Butler bows low. Good morning, sirs, ma'am. Her Highness is still resting, thanks to Miss Marceline's lullaby. Marceline smirks. See, proof. Finn chuckles. She needed it. They slip quietly through the corridors of the castle. Sunlight dances through the sugar glass windows, spilling rainbows across the floor. Each color seems to hum softly, a tiny thank you to the morning. They reach Bubblegum's lab. Everything is tidy now. No papers, no beakers humming, just calm. On her desk, a single candle still smokes faintly, the scent of wax and strawberries in the air. Bubblegum herself is curled up on a couch, a soft blanket over her shoulders. She's breathing evenly, dreaming something peaceful for once. Finn smiles. She looks happy. Marceline nods quietly. She is. Just needed a reminder. Jake whispers, Think we should leave her a note? Finn pulls out a small scrap of paper, scribbling carefully. You're doing great, PB. Don't forget to rest sometimes. Love, your friends. He places it gently on the table beside her. Then they leave, moving softly through the golden corridors, back out into the open morning. Outside, the air is warm and sweet. Jake stretches long and thin, letting Finn hop onto his back. Marceline drifts beside them, humming again this time, a happy tune. Hey, Marcy, Finn says. Do you ever think about how we all fit together? Like everyone in Ooo, so different, but we still kinda belong? Marceline grins. All the time. And that's the best part. Even when things get weird, we've got each other's backs. Jake adds. Yeah, Oo's basically one big sleepy family. They laugh, and the sound floats high into the brightening sky. They pass over the forest, the river sparkling like silver ribbon below. Tiny birds follow in their wake, singing a song that sounds suspiciously like Marceline's tune. The whole world seems to hum with it, a melody of kindness and calm. The kind of song that doesn't end, but keeps looping quietly, long after you stop hearing it. They reach the treehouse just as the sunlight hits the highest branch. Finn hops down, stretching. Jake flops straight into his hammock again. Man, he sighs. You know what I love about mornings like this? Finn looks over. What? Jake smiles. They feel like hugs. Marceline chuckles softly. Yeah, the world's good at hugging. if you slow down enough to feel it. They sit together, the morning wrapping around them like soft music. For a while, no one says a word. They just breathe. Three friends held by the warmth of Ooo, safe, calm, and at peace. The morning in Ooo moves like honey, slow, sweet, golden. The sunlight drips through the leaves, and every shadow feels soft enough to nap in. Finn and Jake are back in their treehouse, sharing breakfast pancakes piled high, made by BMO, who hums proudly as it flips the last one onto the plate. "Ta-da," BMO says, its voice bright as sunshine. "Friendship pancakes, extra syrup for smiles." Jake grins. "BMO, you're a legend." Finn laughs. "Yeah, dude, these are perfect." BMO blushes. If a console could blush. "I just followed the recipe of love and a little bit of cinnamon." They eat together, no hurry, no plans. Just the sound of forks clinking softly and a few sleepy giggles. Outside, the day is slowly waking. Tiny candy birds hop on branches, and in the distance, the candy kingdom shimmers like sugar glass. When they finish, Finn looks thoughtful. "Hey, Jake?" "Yeah?" "I want to do something nice today. Not big, just nice." Jake raises a brow. "Like save the world again or small nice?" "Small nice," Finn says. "The kind that makes people smile without even knowing why." Jake stretches, his tail curling like a ribbon in the air. "Small nice. Sounds pretty great, bro." So they set out, walking the winding path through the forest. The first person they meet is Tree Trunks, humming happily by her apple trees. She's carrying a basket almost too big for her tiny arms. "Good morning, dears," she calls. "I baked too many pies again." Finn chuckles. "Too many pies sounds like the best kind of problem." Tree Trunks laughs, her eyes twinkling. "Maybe you can help me share them." Kindness is always sweeter when you pass it on. Finn and Jake agree instantly. They spend the next while visiting the forest dwellers, offering warm apple pies and smiles. A squirrel family squeaks happily. A sleepy owl nods and thanks, and even a grumpy little bush troll takes one bite before smiling shyly. Jake winks at Finn. "Told you, bro, sweetness is contagious." They wave goodbye to Tree Trunks and continue on, the forest glowing with quiet joy behind them. Next, they find Lumpy Space Princess, lounging dramatically beside a stream, her mirror hovering above her. "Ugh," she sighed. "I just can't get my lumps to sparkle today." Finn kneels down. "Maybe you just need a compliment." LSP raises an eyebrow. "A what now?" "A compliment," Finn says cheerfully. "You look awesome, like a floating cloud of royalty and glitter." LSP gasps. "Oh my glob, that is so true." She twirls, giggling. "Thanks, Finn. You totally get it." Jake smirks. "See? Small nice strikes again." As they walk away, Finn laughs. Who knew helping people feel better was this easy? Jake chuckles. Guess the world just needs a reminder sometime. Later, they stop by Marceline's cave again. She's sitting outside, tuning her bass. "Back so soon?" she teases. Finn grins. "Just spreading some kindness. You want pie?" Marceline smiles wide. "Always." She takes a bite and hums happily. "Okay, yeah. This pie's got feelings in it." Jake laughs. "Tree Trunk's magic." Marceline nods. "Well, I'll spread it too. Maybe I'll play some tunes down by the market later. Music makes people happy without even trying." Finn nods. "Yeah, that's perfect." They walk on until the sun begins to Sometimes the quiet moments in the Land of Ooo are the most magical of all. They arrive softly, like a cloud passing over the sun, or a dandelion drifting on the breeze. Tonight Finn and Jake sit on the roof of their treehouse, the night stretched wide above them. The stars blink lazily, and a crescent moon hangs low, bright enough to light the forest trails, but dim enough to make the world feel calm. No battles, no quests, no urgent calls from faraway kingdoms. Just two friends and the sound of the world breathing. Jake sighs long and deep. Man, we spend so much time running around, we forget how nice it is to just be. Finn laughs quietly. Yeah, sometimes I think the quiet parts are the best parts. Jake stretches until he's long enough to drape an arm across the edge of the roof. He points at the stars. Each one of those dots, dude, is a story we haven't lived yet. Finn tilts his head back. That's kind of wild. Maybe the stars aren't about new stories. Maybe they're about remembering the ones that already happened. Jake looks at him, impressed. Deep, bro. You been drinking Princess Bubblegum's philosophy tea again? They both laugh softly. The sound drifts out into the trees, where fireflies blink in slow rhythm, as if laughing along. For a while, neither of them speaks. The air hums with the quiet of everything. The forest, the night, the stars. Finn thinks about all the times he's been scared, or angry, or lost. And how every one of those moments led to something good eventually. He says, "You know what I learned, Jake? Sometimes when everything gets too loud, that's when the lesson's still growing." Jake nods. Like bread dough. You can't rush it. Exactly, Finn chuckles. You gotta let it rise. Down below, BMO is humming softly inside the house. A tune that sounds like something between a lullaby and a thought. Finn leans closer to the sound. That's the thing about quiet, he says. It lets you hear what your heart's been trying to say. Jake hums in agreement. Then he whispers, "Finn, what's your heart saying right now?" Finn smiles, eyes half closed. "It's saying thank you." Jake grins. "Ah, dude, mine too." They sit together in silence. The good kind, the kind that feels like a blanket around your shoulders. The stars above Ooo seem to lean a little closer. Their glow gentler now, as if listening, as if smiling. Soft guitar fades, only night wind and crickets remain. The quiet parts of life aren't empty. They're where the love settles in and begins to bloom again. The forest around the treehouse glows faintly under the moonlight. The night is cool and calm, the kind of night that feels like it's listening. Finn and Jake are still awake. Jake stretches, his body forming a long bridge from the roof down to the grass. Finn slides down it with a laugh. "Let's go for a walk," he says. The night feels like it wants company. They wander along the quiet path that leads to the Candy Kingdom. The air smells faintly of sugar and mint. The ground glimmers with dew, each step sparkling just a little. Halfway there, they spot a familiar figure sitting by a pond, Princess Bubblegum, her lab coat folded neatly beside her, a small lantern glowing at her feet. Next to her sits Marceline, plucking soft notes on her bass, the sound barely louder than the breeze. The two friends look up as Finn and Jake approach. Marceline smiles. "Hey, night travelers couldn't sleep?" Finn shakes his head. "Nah, just listening to the quiet." Bubblegum pats the grass beside her. "Then sit." Quiet likes more listeners. The four of them sit together. No one talks for a long time. only the sound of the pond moving gently, and Marceline's bass humming like a heartbeat. Finally, Jake speaks. You know, PB, I've been thinking, you and Marcy used to argue all the time, right? Now you sit here like best friends. How'd you do that? Marceline chuckles softly. By being stubborn, I guess. And then realizing I didn't need to be. Bubblegum smiles, her eyes soft. It took us both a while to understand that caring about someone doesn't mean you have to agree all the time. Finn nods. It's like adventures. Sometimes you fight a monster, but sometimes the monster is just your own pride. Marceline plucks a single, low note. Yeah, and forgiveness is like tuning your instrument. If you keep holding on to tension, nothing sounds right. The night seems to sigh with them. The pond ripples once, then smooths again, as if agreeing. Bubblegum looks up at the stars. They're so steady, she whispers. They burn for thousands of years, and they never rush. Maybe that's why they're patient with us. Finn tilts his head. Do you think they forgive too? Marceline grins. Sure. They see everything, all our mistakes, and still show up every night. Jake chuckles. Stars are like the universe's chillest bros. Everyone laughs quietly. It's not a loud laugh, just that soft, shared kind of laughter. It feels like the night itself is smiling along. The conversation drifts from forgiveness to memories, from old mistakes to new hopes. Finn talks about how he used to try to fix everything with his sword. Now he knows some things can't be fought, only understood. Bubblegum admits she's learning to let go, to trust that not every problem needs a plan. Marceline talks about how even when she feels lonely, she remembers that love doesn't always mean being there. Sometimes it's just knowing someone cares, even from far away. Jake listens to them all and says quietly, Man, Oo's a weird place, huh? But it's full of second chances. The moon drifts higher. The pond reflects it perfectly now, a glowing circle of peace. The four friends sit close, their reflections rippling side by side in the water. No one says much more. They don't need to. The lesson has already settled into their hearts. That quiet doesn't mean emptiness, and forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It just means freeing space for more love to grow. Music softens, slow bass and harp blend together. The quiet parts of life aren't waiting for noise. They're teaching us how to listen, how to stay, and how to heal. When the laughter fades, a long, gentle silence follows. The four friends sit for a few more minutes beside the pond, watching the reflections of stars move like slow thoughts across the surface. Eventually, Princess Bubblegum stands and brushes the grass from her skirt. I should head back, she says softly. I left a few experiments cooling. Marceline smirks. Bet they'll still be there in the morning. PB smiles but nods. Maybe. But I like seeing them at rest. Jake stretches until he's twice his size, a living blanket in the moonlight. I'm walking back too. I gotta keep an eye on the dream dimension, make sure it's not leaking into ours again. Everyone chuckles. Then they part quietly, each taking a different path through the silver woods. Princess Bubblegum walks toward her lab, the lantern swinging in her hand. The path is lined with sugar blossoms, their petals folding for the night. She stops halfway home and just listens. The air hums with tiny life wings, leaves, soft breaths of sleeping creatures. For the first time in a long while, she realizes she doesn't have to measure anything, doesn't have to fix anything. She can just exist. She whispers to herself, I don't always need answers. And the wind, kind and quiet, seems to whisper back, that's an answer too. Marceline flies low over the treetops, her hair drifting like a slow shadow behind her. She doesn't go straight home. Instead, she lands by an old oak tree, the one she used to sit under with Simon. The bark is rough beneath her hand, the ground cool beneath her feet. She leans against the trunk and hums a few notes. The sound echoes, faint and haunting, but not sad. She closes her eyes and says softly, I used to think quiet meant being alone. But now I think it's just space for remembering. The stars above shimmer in agreement. The leaves rustle like applause. She smiles, and for a moment, she feels time fold gently around her. Not heavy, just full. Jake wanders along a winding stream, his body shifting shapes with each step. A bridge, a spiral, a wave. He laughs softly to himself. Guess quiet doesn't mean sitting still. It just means moving easy. He finds a flat rock, lies down, and stares at the stars. They blink back, like old friends trading secrets. Jake hums an old tune Lady Rainicorn taught him, a song that sounds like moonlight and love. By the time he finishes, he's already halfway to sleep, a slow smile on his face. And Finn takes the long path back toward the treehouse. The forest is peaceful, every branch glowing faintly under the moon. He walks without hurry, hands in his pockets, heart full. He thinks about the pond, about the laughter, about how different everyone is, and yet how they all find the same peace in the same stillness. When he reaches the hill below the treehouse, he stops and looks up. The stars seem even closer now. He whispers, thanks, quiet. Then he climbs the ladder, the wood creaking softly beneath his feet, and steps back into the glow of home. BMO is waiting by the window, its screen showing a small moon and a sleepy face. Hey, Finn, it says softly. You look peaceful. Finn smiles. Yeah, I think I finally am. Music fades to slow, steady harp. Faint wind and night sounds remain. Every friend carries their own kind of silence. When we listen to ours, we find where it meets everyone else's. That's how peace begins, quietly, gently, together. Inside the treehouse, the lamps are out. The last bit of moonlight slips through the window, painting silver on the floorboards. Finn sits by that light for a while, legs folded, eyes half closed. He isn't tired yet. He's resting the way a tree rests, quiet but awake inside. BMO hums beside him, a tune too small for words. Outside, the forest keeps its slow rhythm. Leaves brushing, frogs calling far away. A single owl reminding the world to stay calm. Finn's mind drifts over the day. The talk by the pond. Marceline's quiet smile. PB's soft laughter. Jake's music blending into the stream. Every memory feels smooth around the edges now, sharp moments, no worries. Just stories folded into warmth. He gets up and climbs to the roof. The air is cool and thin, and the stars are bright enough to touch. Jake is already there, half asleep, stretched like a golden blanket over the shingles. Finn lies beside him without a word. They stare upward together. For a long while, nothing happens. Just breathing. Just stars. Then Jake speaks, voice slow and sleepy. You ever notice, bro? How quiet doesn't mean nothing's going on. Finn smiles. Yeah. It's like the whole world's still talking, just softer. Jake's eyes close. Guess the universe whispers, so we have to lean in. Finn nods. That's how you learn the good stuff. The wind moves through the trees below, and the sound feels like someone turning pages in a giant book. Finn whispers, "Do you think the stars remember our stories?" Jake chuckles low. "Sure they do. That's why they twinkle. So they don't fall asleep." Finn laughs quietly, then lets his eyes close too. Down below, BMO watches them from the window and recording the soft sound of their breathing. Not to save, not to replay, just to keep. The night stretches longer. Clouds drift slowly across the moon. The air cools, and the forest folds itself deeper into stillness. In that space, Finn's thoughts loosen, becoming smaller, lighter. Words turn into feelings. Feelings turn into peace. Music slows, only soft flute and wind remain. The quiet doesn't ask for anything. It only offers a place to rest. In stillness, hearts learn to listen again. And the world hums its ancient, gentle song. A pause, a long sigh of wind passes through leaves. Finn's voice, barely a whisper now. "Good night, stars." Jake murmurs something too soft to hear. Then even that fades. The camera of imagination pulls back, past the treehouse, past the forest, past the winding rivers of Ooo. The land glows faintly, like a heart beating in sleep. Every creature rests in its own rhythm, dozing over a half-written note. Marceline's guitar leaning against her chair, tree trunks dreaming of pies, and the Ice King mumbling a happy tune in his sleep. All of them breathing in the same slow harmony. The world of Ooo blurs into sleep. Colors fade into soft light, edges dissolve. And in that hush between moments, Finn begins to dream. At first, it's only shapes, the treehouse door swinging, the moon dipping below the horizon. Then the shapes melt into a wide meadow, silver grass rippling under an endless sky. Jake is there too, floating beside him like a drifting balloon. BMO hums a tune that ripples the grass with every note. Everything glows. Everything breathes. Finn looks around. "Are we dreaming?" Jake grins. "Yeah, but it's a chill dream. No monsters, no running, just vibes." They start to walk. The grass bends but doesn't break. And wherever their feet touch, tiny sparks of light appear, like fireflies being born from each step. Finn laughs softly. "It feels alive." Jake nods. Maybe dreams are just the world remembering itself. They pass a lake smooth as glass. In its reflection, Finn sees not just the night sky, but faces. Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, tree trunks, Ice King, each of them smiling, each of them at peace. Finn kneels by the water. I think they're dreaming too. Jake dips a paw in the surface. The ripples spread in wide rings. Maybe all the quiet hearts link up here. One big sleepy circle of love. Finn watches the ripples fade. I like that. They walk farther, and the air begins to hum, a sound not quite music, not quite silence. The stars above move slowly, like glowing leaves on a cosmic breeze. BMO dances ahead, each step lighting up the path. Follow the shimmer, it sings, voice soft as a lullaby. They follow until the path widens into a field of glowing flowers. Each bloom opens as they pass, spilling light and memory into the air. Moments from old adventures, echoes of laughter, the soft hum of kindness that lingers after every good day. Finn turns to Jake. This is what quiet teaches us, huh? That the best parts never really end. Jake smiles, a little sleepy, a little wise. They just find new ways to glow, They reach the center of the field. The light gathers around them, 1,000 little stars rising from the petals. Finn feels them brush against his skin, tiny, warm, forgiving. He closes his eyes. He feels no weight, no worry, only the soft rhythm of his own heart, and the quiet promise of another dawn. Dreams are not escapes. They are a gentle reminder that everything beautiful you've known still lives inside you. Jake's voice far away now. See you in the morning, bro. Finn murmurs back. See you. In the light. The dream folds like a blanket. The field fades into starlight, and Ooo drifts deeper into sleep. The dream fades like mist. Light begins to gather again, at first silver, then gold, then the faint pink of a waking scassian. Finn stirs. He doesn't open his eyes right away. He just listens. The treehouse creaks softly, wood stretching after a long, peaceful rest. Somewhere BMO hums a good morning melody, and Jake snores in a rhythm that sounds almost like laughter. Finn smiles into his pillow. He feels the weight of the blanket, the smell of morning leaves, the calm that hasn't gone away. For a while, he just breathes. No rush, no quests waiting. Just that quiet thread of peace still tied around his heart. He finally sits up and climbs to the roof. The sky above is glowing, pale blue bleeding into sunrise orange. The world below is still half asleep, and the first rays of light slide gently through the forest. Jake is already awake, half stretched, half yawning. Hey, morning, buddy. Finn nods. Hey, you dream okay? Jake grins, eyes still squinty. Best dream ever. We were walking through glowing grass. Everything was calm. Finn laughs softly. Yeah, I think I was there too. They sit together, watching the sun climb. Down below, life begins to stir. Tree Trunks opens her window to the smell of apple pie. Princess Bubblegum's lab lights flicker back on, not in a hurry this time. Marceline hums a low, lazy tune on her balcony, letting the morning breeze carry it away. Even Ice King is smiling in his sleep, dreaming of friendship instead of crowns. The whole land glows with a soft peace, as if the night's lessons still float in the air. Finn turns to Jake. You know what I think? Jake stretches until his arms reach the edge of the roof. What's that? Finn smiles. I think quiet isn't something we find. It's something we keep. Jake nods slowly. Yeah, like inside. So even when the world gets wild again, you can still feel that hush from the stars. They sit in silence again, letting the warmth of sunrise fill the spaces between words. Music swells harp, joined by faint strings and birdsong. The land of Ooo wakes gently. The adventures will return, laughter will echo again, and the days will be full of color. But in every quiet breath, there will always be the memory of still water, silver stars, and the peace that sleeps beneath everything. Finn exhales, eyes half closed, face soft in the light. Guess that's the real magic, he whispers. Jake nods, almost asleep again. Yep, staying soft. The camera of imagination drifts back one last time, over the treehouse, the waking forest, the gentle hum of Ooo coming to life. A new day begins. But the peace of the night lingers like a warm, glowing thread through everything. Sleep well, dear dreamer. When the world stirs and calls you again, carry this calm with you. It belongs to you now, forever. The sun has risen fully now, but its warmth feels like a blanket, not a call to action. The Land of Ooo is awake, and yet still dreaming. From high above, the world looks gentle, a patchwork of forests, rivers, candy towns, and meadows, all bathed in soft gold. The air hums with the quiet song of new beginnings. Inside the treehouse, Finn stretches. Jake rolls lazily to one side, and BMO projects a tiny sunrise on the wall, just because it can. Finn smiles. There's no rush. The world feels light. Every worry, every storm, seems like something that happened in another lifetime. He leans against the window and whispers, "Good morning, Ooo." The forest answers with bird song, each note like a friend's hello. Jake flops upright, his fur catching the sunlight. "Bro," he says, "you ever notice how even mornings can feel sleepy?" Finn laughs softly. "Yeah, like the world's still stretching before it wakes up." Jake grins. "Maybe that's the best time to dream, when you're not asleep anymore. But you're not all the way awake either." Finn tilts his head. "Dreaming with your eyes open." Jake nods. "Exactly. That's where the good stuff hides." They sit there together for a while, half in dream, half in day, breathing in the slow rhythm of the morning. The light shifts, and Finn feels that same warmth he felt in his dream, the glow of connection, the steady beat of friendship, the hush that stays long after the song ends. He looks out at the forest and whispers, "Thank you." Not to anyone in particular, just to everything. The trees sway gently in reply. The clouds drift slower, as if listening. And somewhere deep in Ooo, a soft voice, maybe the world itself, seems to murmur back, "You're welcome, little adventurer. You did well." Pause. Faint harp tones rise again, each note a heartbeat of light. Sleep and waking aren't so different. Both are ways of remembering love. Both are places to rest. Finn closes his eyes again, not to fall asleep, but to carry the calm a little longer. Jake hums. BMO's light flickers, and the air smells faintly of apples and sunlight. The whole world seems to whisper, "Rest easy." The story never really ends. It just softens. night has just begun to hum again. The sky above the Land of Ooo glows with sleepy colors, deep blue and silver, with hints of lavender drifting between clouds. The stars blink slowly like they too are yawning. Down below in the quiet treehouse, a small light flickers. BMO is awake. Its screen glows soft green, casting a gentle light across the room where Finn and Jake sleep peacefully in their hammocks. The fire crackles low. A few embers pop like whispered laughter. BMO hums a song not loud, not bright, just enough to fill the air with warmth. It's a lullaby it wrote for nights like this. Soft little stars, don't fall too far. Keep your glow near where the dreamers are. As BMO sings, the whole treehouse seems to breathe with it. The leaves rustle quietly. The wind through the window moves in time with the tune. Even Finn shifts in his sleep, a smile curling on his face. Outside, a few fireflies float by, their lights pulsing gently tiny echoes of BMO's melody. It's one of those nights when Ooo feels wrapped in invisible magic, not the kind made of spells or power, but the kind made of care. When the song ends, BMO whispers, "Good night, my heroes." And with that, it dims its screen and curls up beside the window. The world glows in silence. Far away, deep in the forest, Tree Trunk's little house rests beneath a canopy of apple trees. The night air is cool and sweet, and the smell of sugar drifts from her kitchen window. Inside, Tree Trunks hum softly as she bakes. Her eyes are half closed, her movements slow and graceful, as if even her whisk knows it's bedtime. She's not baking for a party or a guest. She's just making something nice for tomorrow. Because love, she says, is even better when it's made before the sun. She sets out her pies, tiny golden ones, with flaky crusts that shine in the candlelight, and dusts them with a touch of cinnamon and starlight. When she's done, she sits by the window, watching the soft glow of the moon move between branches. An owl hoots nearby. Tree Trunk smiles. "Oh, aren't we all just little pies in the oven of life?" she whispers dreamily, and laughs to herself. Her laughter is the sound of pure kindness, a sound that floats out her window through the trees, all the way to the sleepy candy kingdom, where it lands like a feather on the night air. Up in his frozen tower, the Ice King sits by a window too. He's not scheming tonight, not chasing princesses or practicing his songs. He's just quiet. The moonlight spills over his beard, and for a moment, his face looks soft, almost peaceful. In his hands, he holds a small, worn book. The pages shimmer faintly, covered in tiny blue runes. It's his memory book. He flips through the pages and watching images of old friends and adventures appear in light. Marceline is a little girl, laughing under a tree, himself younger and human, offering her a teddy bear. A sigh escapes him. "I miss when things were simple," he murmurs, voice trembling like thin ice. For a long moment, the only sound is the cold wind outside. But even the wind seems gentle tonight, as if it's listening. Then something small and glowing lands on his windowsill. A snowbird. It chirps once softly. The Ice King blinks. "Oh, hello there." The bird fluffs its feathers, then hops closer, unafraid. Its tiny warmth glows against the cold blue of the room. The Ice King smiles. "Well, that's magic, isn't it?" he whispers. "Just showing up." He opens the window, and the little bird flies off into the moonlight, leaving behind a single feather made of frost and light. The Ice King tucks it into his book and closes it gently. Then, for the first time in a long time, he falls asleep in peace. Back in the treehouse, the stars have moved a little farther across the sky. Jake snores softly, tail curled over his face. Finn shifts, mumbling something about apple pies and quests. BMO stirs and glances at them both, its screen flickering softly like a heartbeat. All around Ooo, the small, quiet acts of love, BMO's song, tree trunks, pies, the Ice King's memory, float together into one big wave of calm. It rolls across forests and kingdoms, touching every heart, reminding everyone, awake or dreaming, that love doesn't need to shout. It only needs to show up, like the faint light of a firefly, like the warmth of a pie cooling on a windowsill, like a lullaby whispered to the stars. Soft harp returns low and steady. The night deepens. The air glows. And somewhere in the distance, you can almost hear Ooo sigh, a sigh of complete, gentle peace. The land of Ooo is sleeping. Every light is low, every leaf is still. But in the hush, something begins to stir, not loud, not bright, but quiet magic, the kind that only shows itself when the world is half dreaming. It begins as a shimmer above tree trunks' orchard. Tiny motes of starlight drift down like gentle snow. They float through the branches, slide along the river, and glide toward the treehouse on the hill. Inside, Finn and Jake sleep soundly. Finn's hand dangles over the edge of his hammock, and one of those motes of starlight lands softly on his fingers. He stirs, not awake, but not quite dreaming either. And suddenly, he finds himself standing in a field made of silver grass. The air glows like moonlight caught in a bottle. Jake is there too, stretching in slow motion, his body flowing like warm syrup. "Whoa," Finn murmurs. "Where are we?" Jake grins. "Looks like we're in one of those extra cozy dreams, dude." The stars above them move in slow spirals, trailing colors like paint across the sky. Each swirl feels like a heartbeat, soft, deep, steady. As they walk, they hear a faint melody. It's familiar, sweet, and slow, BMO's lullaby drifting on the dream air. Soft little stars, don't fall too far. Jake chuckles. He's singing in our dreams now, BMO's everywhere. Finn smiles. Guess that's what love does, huh? It echoes. They follow the sound to the glowing field, where the grass hums under their feet. In the distance, they see a tree that's brighter than the rest, its branches covered in tiny lights. At the base of the tree sits Marceline, plucking soft chords on her red bass. The sound rolls like waves, not loud, but full, like the warmth of a candle's light. When she sees them, she smiles. "Oh, hey, dream travelers." Finn laughs. "Marcy, what's going on?" She shrugs, strumming lazily. "I was playing to the moon, but I guess it called you two here instead." Jake stretches beside her, his tail curling into a pillow. "This place feels like a nap wrapped in a hug," he murmurs. Marceline smirks. "That's the point. Some nights, the magic of Ooo just wants to make sure everyone's okay." Finn sits down, the grass glowing a little brighter beneath him. He watches as the stars shift again, their trails forming faint outlines, a candy tower here, a pie there, and somewhere far off a glowing bird flying over a mountain of ice. Marceline notices his gaze. "Those are dreams too," she says softly. "Everyone's having their own. But sometimes they touch." The sound of her voice is like soft wind through crystal. It fills the space between words with warmth. Jake hums. "So we're all dreaming together." "Kind of," Marceline says. BMO's song connected it. Little acts of love, remember? They don't just fade, they ripple. The three friends sit quietly for a while. No need to speak. The dream feels alive around them, like it's breathing with them. A light breeze carries the scent of apples, and Finn smiles. Tree trunks pies, he whispers. Marceline grins. Even her love made it into the dream world. She's powerful like that. The sky begins to change, not darker, not lighter, but deeper, like the color of a quiet heartbeat. The stars above them shimmer, and for a moment, they see images floating in the glow. Princess Bubblegum tending her garden, the Ice King smiling at his snowbird, BMO asleep with a tiny smile on its screen. Finn sighs. They all look happy. Marceline nods. They are. Magic isn't about spells or power. It's about what you leave behind when you're kind. Jake mumbles sleepily. Land of Oo's full of magic tonight. Marceline laughs softly. You got that right, stretch dog. Her music fades to a hum that matches the rhythm of their breaths, slow and peaceful. The dream field sways gently. Stars shimmer, the wind whispers, and everything becomes one soft blur of color and comfort. Finn lies back on the glowing grass, eyes closing. I don't want this dream to end, he murmurs. Marceline smiles, her voice low and tender. It doesn't have to, Finn. It just changes form. And as her words fade, so does the scene, not disappearing, but blending into the next layer of the dream, where night and love are the same gentle thing. Music softens, only heartbeat-like hums remain. Somewhere beyond the stars, Ooh keeps dreaming too. A dream made of laughter, kindness, and every tiny spark that once made someone smile. Pause, sound of wind and faint chime. And under that silver sky, all those small acts of magic and love keep glowing, quietly, endlessly, like stars that never truly fade. The sky over Ooh begins to pale. The first light of dawn slides down the mountains, touching treetops, warming rooftops, and whispering the world awake. Finn stirs before he fully wakes. For a moment he still feels the silver grass beneath him, Marceline's song in the air, Jake breathing softly beside him. The dream fades, but the feeling doesn't. It lingers warm, golden, and slow. He opens his eyes. The treehouse is filled with the faintest blue glow. BMO is humming quietly at the window, its screen bright with the morning reflection. Good morning, sleepy hero, BMO says. Finn smiles. Hey, buddy. I think I had the nicest dream. Jake yawns in his hammock. Was I in it? Please say I was snoring majestically. You were, Finn laughs. And Marceline was there too. And there was this feeling, like everything in Ooh was connected. Jake stretches long, arms reaching the ceiling. Sounds about right, dude. That's how the good dreams work. They hang around after you wake up. Outside, the forest glitters with dew. The sun hasn't climbed far yet. Its light moves like soft honey through the leaves. Every branch and rock seems to glow a little, as if remembering the dream too. BMO pours tiny cups of tea. Morning tea for dream travelers, it says proudly. Finn takes a sip, and the steam smells faintly of apples and sugar tree trunks magic still drifting on the air. Jake looks toward the window. Think everyone else feels it? Finn nods slowly. Yeah, I think the whole land woke up happy. Down in the Candy Kingdom, Princess Bubblegum walks through her garden. She can't quite explain why her heart feels light, only that the roses look extra pink today, and the air tastes like laughter. She touches a leaf and smiles. Something's different, she whispers. Not far away. Tree Trunks opens her window to cool her latest pies. The birds gather at her sill. Now, she chuckles. There's enough sweetness for everyone. And on a distant peak, the Ice King yawns awake, his crown tilted, the frost on his window glittering like tiny stars. He finds the feather the snowbird left behind. When he holds it to the light, it shines with the same silver glow from his dream. He doesn't remember all of it, but he remembers feeling loved. He tucks the feather into his robe and hums softly a tune that sounds suspiciously like BMO's lullaby. Back in the treehouse, Finn, Jake, and BMO sit on the porch, watching the sun climb higher. The light spills over them, turning the world from blue to gold. Jake sighs happily. You know, bro, I think every act of love last night turned into this sunrise. Finn smiles. Yeah, and every sunrise probably turns back into love again. They sit quietly. No grand adventure waiting, no danger calling, just warmth and stillness, and the feeling that Ooo itself is humming along with them. BMO leans against Finn's arm. Magic isn't something you use, it says. It's something you keep alive. Finn nods. Guess that's our job then. Jake chuckles. Best job ever? The morning stretches. Birds weave their songs through the trees. The air smells of pancakes and sunlight. The whole land of Ooo feels slow, bright, and grateful as if it remembers every kind thing that happened in the dark. The morning light stretches across Ooo like a smile. The air smells of grass, fruit, and pancakes cooling somewhere nearby. Finn and Jake finish breakfast while BMO hums a song that keeps changing, part lullaby, part sunshine. Jake wipes syrup from his face. Bro, this feels like a day for doing good things, but without breaking a sweat. Finn grins. Yeah, just simple good things. They pack a small basket, a few pies from Tree Trunks, some of Princess Bubblegum's tea leaves, and a jar of sunlight that BMO swears it caught for emergencies. Then they set off down the hill, walking without hurry. The path leads through the Candy Kingdom first. The streets are calm, the candy citizens smiling at the morning. A peppermint guard waves. Finn waves back. They stop when they see a tiny gumdrop child trying to lift a basket of flowers too big for her arms. Jake stretches a long arm and helps carry it. The gumdrop giggles. Thank you, Mr. Stretchy. No problem, Sweet Pea, Jake says. Share those flowers. That's how the world keeps smiling. The gumdrop nods solemnly, as if she understands something important. Next, they wander toward the meadow. The grass sways in soft waves. In the middle stands a small wilted tree. Finn touches the trunk gently. It's been hot lately, he says. BMO blinks. I can fix it. It opens the jar of sunlight. A single warm glow escapes and floats into the tree's leaves. Slowly, color returns, green deepens, and tiny blossoms appear. Jake whistles. Dang, BMO, you actually bottled kindness. BMO giggles. Kindness is light. You just have to catch it before it floats away. They sit under the newly bright tree, sharing a pie and some quiet. A soft breeze passes, carrying the scent of apples again. Finn leans back. It's weird, he says softly. It feels like everyone's helping everyone today. Like the world's in sync. Jake nods. Guess that's what happens when dreams don't end. They just turn into real life. In the afternoon, clouds drift slow across the sky. Marceline flies by overhead, her base slung across her back. She spots them and swoops down. "Hey, dream traveler," she teases. "You sleep okay?" Finn grins. "Best night ever. We're keeping the dream going." Marceline raises an eyebrow. "Oh yeah? How?" Jake gestures to the trees, to the pie crumbs, to BMO holding the now empty sunlight jar. "Tiny acts of awesome." Marceline chuckles. "Well, that's my favorite kind of magic." She strums a few lazy chords, a tune that sounds like a nap in the sun. Birds gather in the branches. Even the breeze pauses to listen. When she finishes, she gives Finn a playful salute and drifts off again, her music still echoing through the fields. Finn watches her go, a gentle smile on his face. Feels like every sound, every color, every smile in Ooo is connected today. Jake stretches. "Then we did good, bro." By the time the sun begins to dip while they've shared their pies, repaired a cracked bridge with vines and laughter, and helped a turtle cross the road. Nothing heroic, nothing loud, just quiet things that left the day softer than they found it. They head home as the sky blushes orange and pink. BMO rides on Finn's shoulder, humming the same lullaby from the night before. Jake hums along. Finn smiles, eyes half-lidded. "I think Oo's ready for another good night," he says. Jake nods. "Yeah, man. Because good days make good dreams." The sun lowers behind the hills of Ooo, and the gold of the afternoon begins to melt into rose. Every color softens. Every sound stretches out, slower, quieter. Finn and Jake walk home through the forest. Their footsteps make the smallest rustles in the grass. Mo hums a tune that sounds like the day sighing. The river beside them glitters, ripples catching the last bits of light, turning them into tiny stars that float on water. A frog croaks once, then twice, as if saying goodnight to the sun. Jake yawns. "Man, this was a chill day." Finn nods. "Yeah. I don't think we saved Ooo today. I think we just helped it breathe." They reach the treehouse just as the first real star appears. The air smells of leaves and cinnamon. Somewhere, tree trunks must be baking again. They climb to the top platform and sit quietly. Below them, the Candy Kingdom begins to glow. Lanterns blink on one by one soft pinks, oranges, and yellows, each a little echo of someone's kindness. Far away on a mountain of blue ice, a faint shimmer lights the Ice King's tower. He's awake again, reading his book beside the snowbird's feather. He isn't lonely tonight. He just watches the horizon, smiling at the memory of a dream he can't quite name. Marceline's cave hums with low music, the notes sliding into the air like fireflies. Her song mixes with the sound of the forest and the Candy Kingdom lights, and together they make something new, a rhythm that feels like comfort. Finn rests his chin on his knees. Everything feels connected again. Jake's eyes are half closed. "Yeah, man, the world's heartbeat is back." BMO looks up at the sky. "Look, the stars are starting their song." And they are. A shimmer spreads across the darkening blue. Each tiny light seems to pulse in time, slow, steady, kind. As night deepens, the three friends make cocoa. Steam rises, curls, disappears. They talk softly about nothing at all, which in Ooo is the best kind of conversation. Finn remembers the silver grass of the dream, Marceline's laughter, the warmth of the morning. He realizes none of it is gone. It's just changed shape, become part of the air, the stars, the smiles. He whispers, "Guess love really is magic." Jake murmurs back, "Always has been." BMO switches its screen to a candle flame. Its little voice fades into the hush. Then tonight, we let the magic rest. The night folds over Ooo again, gentle and wide. The lights of the Candy Kingdom dim. Tree Trunks closes her shutters. Marceline's last note lingers, floating toward the treehouse like a lullaby. Finn, Jake, and BMO settle into their hammocks. Outside, the wind carries the smell of apples and snow and sugar, every corner of the land sharing the same slow peace. Music drifts lower, soft piano and a single flute note. When the sky begins to glow and day turns to dream, the magic that was given away gathers itself again, ready to shine for another dawn. Night has wrapped its silver blanket around the Land of Ooo. Every light, every sound, every heart is quiet now. The moon glows low and kind, casting little rivers of light across the hills. In the treehouse, Finn's breathing has slowed, steady and peaceful. Jake is a golden curl in his hammock, snoring the tiniest, happiest snore. BMO rests between them, its screen showing a slow swirl of stars. Outside, the forest hums in its sleep. Crickets play their rhythm. Leaves sway to a lullaby only they can hear. The whole land seems to sigh, a deep, contented breath that says, all is well tonight. Down in the Candy Kingdom, lanterns float gently above the rooftops, their glow swaying with the breeze. Princess Bubblegum walks once more through her garden, now silver instead of pink. She touches a rose petal that shines like moonlight. Thank you, she whispers, though she doesn't quite know to whom. Perhaps to the stars. Perhaps to the feeling that fills the night air. Tree trunks, dreams of pies that never burn, of friends who always stop by just in time for tea. Her kitchen hums softly, the scent of apples drifting out through the window to join the forest air. Marceline floats above her cave, her hair drifting like a dark cloud, her eyes closed. A small smile curves her lips. Her dream is music and laughter and moonlight, twisting together forever. Even the Ice King sleeps, his crown faintly aglow. The snowbird feather glimmers beside him, and for the first time in a long while, his dreams are gentle. No lonely castles, no storms, only soft snow and the warmth of unseen friends. Back in the treehouse, the moonlight creeps through the window. It glints off Finn's sword, then rests on his hand, the one hanging over the edge of his hammock. BMO's voice hums low. Sleep, little heroes. The day is done. The stars will guard till morning sun. Dreams will weave and softly glow. In hearts of love, the magic grows. The words float into the stillness, then dissolve like sugar in tea. Jake mumbles in his sleep, half dreaming, half awake. Good job today, bro. Finn murmurs back. Good night, Jake. BMO dims its light to a faint candle flicker. Good night, world, it whispers. Outside, Ooo lies completely still. The rivers shimmer like threads of silver. The grass bends, the trees whisper. The sky deepens into velvet blue. Above it all, the stars begin to hum soft. Round notes that carry peace from one end of Ooo to the other. They shine on the Candy Kingdom, on Marceline's cave, on the Ice King's tower, on the little gumdrop child who gave away her flowers, and finally, on the treehouse that started it all. Every star holds a story, and every story holds a heart. Tonight, the stories sleep. The music fades to near silence. Only a faint breeze and a heartbeat sound remain. And if you listen closely, you can still hear the laughter and love of Ooo, breathing softly under the moon, waiting for another sunrise, another dream, another gentle adventure.